Morning, this is Troy from the snowy, sunny do-it-yourself world and the off-grid project. It's partially cloudy, partially sunny skies today. Pulling in 100 watts from the solar panels. I've been doing a lot of thinking and math and calculating. And if I am to run my modem full-time at 12 watts, I'll be using 288 watts of power a day. Right now I'm pulling in 100 watts, and in peak sunlight, in the midday, I get 200 watts an hour. So I figure I get 4, 5, maybe 600 watts a day. If the modem is using 300 watts a day, that only leaves me 300 watts of usable energy max. That's on a good day. So then the thing is, if you have 1 or 2 days of clouds, I will pull in a fraction of that, and I'll be drawing off the batteries, and then on the next sunny day you have to top those batteries back off or run a generator. So I've got to get a lot more power coming into the tiny house on wheels just to run the modem and the computer, not counting anything else. And now that the modem is running directly off the 12 volts, directly off a cigarette lighter plug, there's less waste. So it shows me that for me to be able to run my weather station again full time, and to be able to run the IP cameras and another modem, which would then put me up at 600 watts a day, running 2 modems full time, I'm looking at a lot of power consumption here. Now the internet modem, the one I'm going to use for my computer, will only be on in the hours that I'm using the computer. But the 300 watts continuous will be for the IP cameras and for the weather station. And of course then the netbook has its power consumption, and the IP cameras have their power consumption. So definitely going to be looking at getting more solar panels here in the coming months. Definitely. Summer, then I don't have as much problem. With the 800 watt solar, I was really pumping out the power. And I had energy to burn. If you remember, I was running an air conditioner last year. But with the winter and the reduced sunlight hours and the sun lower in the sky and not clearing the treetops as much, it's really putting a hurting on me. So I'm going to take those other 4 solar panels and bring them up to the tiny house and lean them up. They're going to have a dual purpose. They're going to be sort of a bit of skirting for under the tiny house, and they're also going to serve the purpose of collecting the afternoon sun. But that's going to mean cutting down these trees up here to get me more sunlight on those solar panels. And then as funds allow, I will be mounting them up on an overhang on the front of the house, but that's going to be later when the finances are available. So for now, they'll be sitting here on pallets under the front of the house. So I need to get an extension cord, because what I'm going to do is get a thicker extension cord and use that. Actually, I only need like a 20-30 footer. I'm going to have to run to put the solar panels together. The problem is the porch breaks up the path. The panels have very short wires to connect between them. So I'll have 2 panels on this side of the porch and 2 panels on this side of the porch. So the problem is I'm going to have to rig up a connector between the sets. So I'll have to have 2 sets of wires running between them to bridge the gap. And then I'll have to have wires running around and going into the tiny house on wheels to come into the solar charge controller. So I've got to get some wire to be able to finish this project up properly. Well, I'm going to be looking around and see what I can scavenge or salvage and try to get that going. Hopefully in the next couple days here. With the snow underground, it makes it treacherous. There's now snow on there's about a ½ inch to an inch of pure ice. And then there's snow on top of that. So it's quite treacherous. But I'll see what I can get going here today. Funny thing is, another day of calm. Isn't that funny? Put up a wind turbine and you're guaranteed calm, peace, in the meadow. It's a fine sunny day at the off-grid homestead today. Look at that. Really nice. I do need to get these solar panels up by the house because I'm going to get some serious afternoon sunlight. So on payday, I'm buying some wire. I'm using my camera stabilizer that I got in the mail. So I'm experimenting here. We've got 89 degrees up here, but that's probably from the sun warming it up. 37 out. Only 12% humidity, not cool. I have moved the temperature, the thermometer over here to the back where it was. It's easier for me to look at. It's 3:30 in the afternoon and I haven't had the camera in my hand much, but I'll tell you why in a few minutes. Let's come on over here. Oh, I swept the solar panels off, so the broom is in the corner. This morning, the first thing I did was swept off the solar panels. Now, we are looking at 12.9 volts because I'm running the computer and the modem most of the day. I have videos processing while the sun is shining. Still got 72 watts coming in off the main solar panels, and the Harbor Freight panels, that 60 watts is doing whatever it does. I have no way of knowing what that is putting out. So I've got to get a couple meters out here eventually. It's going to take time to get it all done up right. The second modem is offline right now. I tried it out last night and it works. But I will not be able to get a bonded internet connection. I talked to Frontier and they said I cannot get a bonded internet connection. So that means I will be using 600 watts of power a day just to run 2 modems. Now I can probably reduce that by getting rid of the wireless and running it wired. I'm sure the wireless is what burns up the energy. So maybe eventually I will take the one modem and shut off the wireless and direct connect it to my laptop. And then the other modem I would have to run wireless to do my wireless IP cameras. So I'm going to fire up the Harbor Freight generator soon. Actually, I've got Chris going to help me try to get the DC generator out to the tiny house later on. Right now, I'll take you outside and I'll explain what's been going on. So, my car is back, but I cannot get it up into the yard. It is treacherous out here. Really dangerous. Driving out here, everything becomes like a hockey puck. Man, I could probably get it down here now. Actually, maybe tomorrow I'll be able to, because this snow is melting and slushing on top of the ice, so it's going to cause it to become a drivable surface. Because right now, yeah, it's still, see, there's pure slick ice down there. And that is really dangerous. So you can see I've been walking over here all day in the snowier part. Even the squirrels were slipping. And actually the deer were slipping. Up a ways there's a spot, it looks like it must have been hilarious. There's a spot where the deer were scrambling on the edge of the ice. You're just kicking and thrashing like man. Here I wiped out really badly. I totally wiped out earlier. See, that's just pure ice under that coating of snow. It is deadly. My truck is gone and my car is here. Now, I got the car back and yeah, it wasn't cheap. It was as I had feared. It was just a simple plastic piece. He didn't explain it in full detail. It was a simple plastic piece that was leaking antifreeze, but the labor was in ripping off half the engine to get to it, which is really stupid. The way the newer cars are designed, they had to dismantle half the engine just to get to that little piece that was leaking. I like the good old school. I love my car, don't get me wrong. I love my car. It's really nice, and everybody that rides with me loves it. Oh, there's a hawk. Can I see it? It's right up. Where is it? Where is it? It's hard to zoom. Oh, there he goes. Oh, I lost him. Anyway, so yeah, I love my car, but I'll tell you what, the way they have these shrouds and stuff on these things is horrible. So it was expensive. It was really expensive. Now my truck is up by the house of the owners of the property, and Chris is working on it. I'm going to pay him for after payday. When I get paid, I'm going to pay Chris. He's putting in a new O2 sensor and a new engine temperature coolant sensor. That I've had the O2 sensor forever, and the coolant sensor, that was that $12 part I replaced when I first got the truck. But the truck is running rough when it's cold out and when the engine is cold. So Chris is working on that for me, and hopefully then we're going to come back here later and move this DC generator up to the tiny house on wheels, and then I'm going to burn a tank through it of gas through it and pump 500 amps of power into that forklift battery, because it badly needs some heavy duty current. Right now I'm pulling anywhere between 20 to 300 watts. I peaked at almost 300 watts today, but it's not enough, because I'm averaging 7 to 10 amps at any given time pumping into that battery. It's just not enough. It's no good. Well, I'm for now just gonna fire up the little Harbor Freight generator, and I'm gonna work indoors a little bit. Actually, I've got to cut some more firewood. I want to show you what I got here though. I think I'm gonna hang this on the wall. I don't know if that's dirt or where. I'm gonna let it dry out and then I'm gonna brush it. But I think I'm gonna hang this on the wall in a tiny house. It's just a beautiful little remnant of something that was out in that barnwood. So I just think it's worth preserving. Just a cool little artifact of the past. See, there's little clover leaf etchings in them, almost like a cross. And yeah, when that dries out, I'm going to sweep it off and oil it and just hang it on the wall as just a piece of history. Because my decor in my tiny house is going to be all rustic anyway. So, alright, well, back inside a bit. Uploading videos right now. I cut another little dead standing tree. It was a small one. I don't know what kind of wood this is. It's hard. But boy, my Home Lights chainsaw cuts through it like butter. Really nice. Look at the difference in colors. I don't know if this camera really shows the colors. Sometimes the display doesn't really show me the colors in true color, depending on the light situation. Well, I've got my... Chris was here, and we dragged out the DC generator. I'm just going to keep it covered with boards and a tarp for now. But that's not running. It was bogging down and dying. So what I had to do, I've got the Harbor Freight generator running on the battery charger, the Tractor Supply battery charger, and pumping 20 amps into the forklift battery. And after about 30 minutes or an hour or so, I'll come out here and I'll get this guy running again and see if he'll be able to kick on. Because right now, the forklift batteries were taking so much power, this would die right out. So I've got to wait a while, see if that guy can get enough power in here so I can get this guy to run. It was just kicking out, it was bogging the engine right down and dying. So hopefully that guy will give it a little bit of power to get going. Because that battery, it had sat for 2 weeks and it was down to 12.13 volts when I moved it over here. And of course my solar power coming in is only 8, 9, 10 amps at a time. And to that battery, that's nothing. That's a trickle charge for that battery. That's just a maintainer for that. So it's not really charged yet. And I've been running the Harbor Freight generator continuously whenever I'm using my computer for now. But that's just wasteful. So I'm going to use this big boy and try to charge that forklift battery up properly. So we'll come back out later and see how it works out. Okay, it worked. Actually, not minutes after I said that. I only ran the Harbor Freight generator for 15-20 minutes. And I just shut off the Harbor Freight generator, disconnected the wires, hooked up the jumper cables from the DC generator to my forklift batteries, and it didn't even bog much at all. So that worked. It helped a lot. Now this is a 130 amp alternator. So I'm pumping a lot of current into that forklift battery now. A lot. So I'm really nervous, to be honest, but then again the forklift battery gets charged 100 amps an hour for 8 hours overnight in the shop, so it should be normal. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this really close because I am nervous about doing this. Pumping that much current into a forklift battery. This is my first experience with a forklift battery at the tiny house on wheels in the off-grid homestead. Pros and cons of the DC generator. Pros, it's stable. I've got 13.8 volts on the forklift battery bank. And I've got my modem and my computer and my living room LED light on. Cons, it's loud. It's really annoying. I think you can hear it. It's way louder than the Harbor Freight generator. But I'm pumping in 130 amps. Actually, it's a 130 amp alternator. So I figure I'm getting at least between 80 to 100 amps true power into that forklift battery. I'm going to run it for 5 hours till the gas tank runs out and see what kind of power we got in the forklift battery. Got 750 amp hour battery bank, and I figure with that DC generator, figure 7-8 hours, probably good 8 hours to top off that forklift battery is necessary. So right now I'm going to run a gas tank through, which is 5 hours, and see how it stands. Again, I am not going to run anything in the tiny house on wheels off the battery directly without a generator until that battery bank is topped off properly. I am not going to risk it with this battery bank. This is one I'm going to take care of and make it last for years and years to come.